Bingly bong, bong 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 bing. It is the Beck Scrum. It is Sam and Michael. Updates from my side include having the marketing meeting where I posted the notes, and yes, I think just general yesness. I'm not sure that did we really achieve. Well, we had an interesting discussion about Craft Academy graduates and the people finding, getting involved in Agile Ventures challenging because there's just so much there and it's kind of overwhelming, and what we can do to try and address that. I've managed to get in a pull request on website 1, which would, if merged, would stick folks after they'd signed up onto the Getting Started page. And I've also rolled out those changes, so we now have the what's it called? Well, I can even show you along with the new analytics package which I've got running. So the homepage, when you're not logged in, looks like this. It now says get started now to begin coding. It's got, rather than a scary Beck Scrum, blah, blah, and you can see here maybe just the overlays from Google Analytics showing the percentages of where people are clicking through.
So people are actually clicking through on code, huh?
They are, apparently. Yeah, and that was the key thing there. I mean, not so much on pair and grow, but on learn and code, which may be a reflection of where the way in which the AdWords are being served. But yeah, the fact that they're clicking through makes me think that rather than immediately throwing this all out, probably the thing to do might be to kind of go in here and adjust the code page so that it had less text on it and that it ended up with a call to action at the end of it, say. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, and I've got no, it's not that one. Yeah, pull request website 1. Yeah, I think this is pretty much ready to go actually. Just changing it so that after sign up, you end up on the Getting Started page. Seems straightforward. So, did you have a chance to look at this one?
No, I haven't. No.
Yeah. Okay, I might leave that for rather than immediately merging it. Yeah, and yeah. So then I've been, most of the last hour has been talking about other possible paid projects and talking with Brian, who's going to come on as a new trustee for Agile Ventures charity, and brainstorming about how to increase the number of premium mob members. And I'm thinking about sharing the Elixir mob video to try and see if that will entice people in. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for me. No immediate plans. I guess I want to get on to the other couple of issues that I had said I would deal with from the waffle board. So we've got one new guy who came into the previous Scrum. It's called Romualu, and he's finished like a French boot camp and found us through the Up for Grabs tickets, and has said he's going to start working on this change OG plus sign up button for Google button thing, which is.
I saw him yesterday. I was going to tell him to open a pull request, but I wasn't sure what his premium status was and whether that would affect it or.
Yeah, well, and that was something that I had meant for us to perhaps discuss in the kickoff on Friday, but forgot to, about this. This whole thing of like website 1 being a premium project and that being restricted and so on. But maybe we'll talk about that at the end of the Scrum. Just look back to my list of things. So yeah, so things coming up. Yes, no. So we've got the Elixir mob on Wednesday. We've got the Ruby mob on Thursday. Yeah, that's that. I've also Armando gave me the emails of some people who are possibly interested in Agile Ventures maintenance contracts. We will see. We will see. Yeah, so that's my update. Anything to report on your side?
No.
Just go on.
I just did that bit of editing work on Friday.
Oh yeah.
And I'll probably get to work on the 2 other tickets. Maybe today.
Okay.
The one with the testing for the... I want to try and... The one with the bug on SHF.
Oh yeah, right.
Testing might be a little involved, actually.
Yes, so certainly not completely.
You have to call out to GitHub, I think, potentially.
Right.
And maybe mock that out, or I don't know.
Well, it could almost be covered by a unit test at a very low level that would just, because what we've got, there's a regex in there.
Right.
Like, you could just put in a unit test that checked that the regex include, that you passed an SHF project, and instead of passing back SHF as it will currently do, that it will actually pass back the full string, including the hyphen.
Do you think that would be enough, though, because for the tests?
Well, it's an interesting question there about, it's a bug. We should have a, one can make an argument, as I've done in the past, that like, okay, if this is a bug that's been encountered in production, then we should have, an acceptance test to, check that it doesn't happen at the high level. And that would require, but one could run that with, as we do for other things with VCR. But it's interesting because it's not actually that part of the system which is failing. It's just that little unit component, and I wonder if my adherence to like, oh yes, we must have more and more, or I've been very, very gung ho in favor of acceptance tests, and who knows. I sort of was coming up against concerns of like, our acceptance tests are taking a very long time to run. We need to look at reducing them, so on. Actually, for my purposes, over the last 5 kind of points of tickets that I've done, that have mainly been superficial things, I've done acceptance tests. I've done occasional bits, and by running individual tests and then having the tests run on the CI, I rarely run them in their entirety on my machine. So yeah, well, I think many different things. Yes. Oh, well, that's our Scrum then. I guess now I've managed to remember it. Coming back to that point about the premium thing and kind of access to priority and paid projects. The paid projects thing kind of makes sense. And although we still haven't managed to land a significant paid project, it sort of it still seems like if it's sensible to restrict it in that way, and so on. In terms of the priority projects, I feel like with Website 1, as a result of it being a priority project, I've had a kind of, a stick with which to beat people. I don't know. I've had a mechanism for sort of saying to people, well, why don't you go to those other projects and so on. In this particular case, where this guy has come in and found, this enthusiastic young guy who's come in through the up for grabs and so on, it felt like if I immediately said, oh, sorry, you need to pay money to contribute to this project, that felt like that would be quashing his enthusiasm, if you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah.
And I wonder going forward, yeah, what the best approach is really. It's what do you think of the idea of having priority projects on which we tend to prefer premium members?
I think we were doing it when we were coding a lot more on Website 1 for this project, but now it seems like we're not coding as much on Website 1.
I think that's probably true. I think that there's sort of a kind of irony in open source, in as much as like anybody can contribute, and that's fantastic. But there's also like a work level that comes from people contributing things. But it's yeah, I don't know. I just go on.
I said, yeah, there's work level with vetting the pull requests and
Right.
then maintaining them and stuff.
Yeah.
Going forward, but yeah.
I mean, although, I mean, interestingly, I was just listening to this podcast this morning. It was about the guy who behind the Atom editor, and how he was talking about, some guy had done a load of work for them for pull requests, and then they eventually got him on as a contractor, and this, that, and the other. And I think it's yeah. Anyway, I mean, like Sam Pretty was coming in and saying, okay, I want to know which are the paid projects, which are the priority projects, and what's the deal here. Yeah, it all comes down to like kind of communicating our offering or working with this understanding. Like, yeah, I don't know. So I mean, I kind of said, because Romuald, he was in the previous Scrum, and I said to him, usually people don't start on website 1; they often do other projects first. And he was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's kind of big and overwhelming. Would you suggest I work on a different project? And I said, well, you've started on this one, so on this ticket, and you're getting stuff oriented. Why not have a go, and we'll see. I mean, I think these things are not written in stone, and ultimately we need to work out a way that makes the whole thing manageable. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yes. So, well, I guess that's our Scrum. Yeah, I'm tempted to look at I mean, I've moved this initial messaging ticket back into here. Right, so I've got one editing ticket, and I mean, the other thing that was sort of serendipitous is, having said, oh, I work on this, I was kind of like, oh god, that's a bit of a grind, that ticket, and then Romualo offered to work on it, so that seemed fortuitous. And then that's in the 3 that so I guess maybe if I got this one out of the way, I can leave the other one to Romualo to see if he how far he gets with it. And yeah, then the other thing I was just mentioning in the marketing meeting was using something like InVision to kind of mock out the alternate user flow for the system. I was just talking to Brian again about this sort of flow experience, that the sort of map of steps that Free Code has got. Yeah, and so Pat adjusted the getting started thing to remove some of the verbiage from the top and put in this table, which they're working on, trying to improve the styling on.
Excellent. Yeah.
But I wonder if there's a quick way to get this set up so that maybe this could also be like the step 1, and it would say what it was, and we could just have it sort of pop up like the we're talking about doing for the premium pricing pages. And I mean, even if it was just that you could sort of see the outline of the steps, right? Because I think part of the thing is, you look at this and it's kind of like, oh gosh, I've got to read all this bloody stuff. If it was like, oh, here are these 9 steps, and then if you could kind of tick them off to indicate that you've done them. I mean, that's the functionality that we've got in these the waffle and under the hood. Like, we can click on these ticks in here, and it actually updates the code underneath to sort of tick it off.
Right.
Yeah, I wonder how difficult that would be to do. Anyway, well, I guess
to have it tick it, or to have it actually really check?
Well, I think in the first instance, it would be sensible to the first pass would just be to allow people to tick it, like when they say they've done it. as sort of a mechanism, and then longer term we could like and persist it for them so that they can know that. And then you know, like there's things we could do. I mean, almost, yeah, if we made it like a specific page, then basically as soon as they've linked their GitHub account, right, then it could kind of have that ticked off, right? Your GitHub account is linked. Boop. And then the next one is like, okay, Google Plus and, you know, Build Tracker, YouTube, like whatever, you know, is it optionally? And yeah, ultimately, if as a consequence of doing the thing that we were suggesting that you did, that it did then tick off, that would be, you know, I think a huge win in terms of getting people along the pathway and giving them a good positive feeling of reinforcement as they went along it.
Right, so that wouldn't, well...
Go on.
It wouldn't be that hard, I don't think.
No. Yeah. And yeah. Anyway, I guess what I'm probably going to do now is get a cup of tea and work on just editing the premium pages to get those little pop-ups working, and be thinking in the background about a kind of a getting started page that allows you to go step by step.
Okay.
Cool. All right. I will. Oh, and yeah, if you want to play around with this, you know, viewing where people are clicking and so on, the plugin for Chrome is called Page Analytics by Google. I have strange giggly what's it? Anyway.
To be signed into something.
Yeah, you just need. I think you've got access to it. You just need to be signed in with the same account that has access.
Yeah.
I'll just put it in here. Federico. This is the plugin. Are signed in with the account that you have access to Google Analytics. If you can see the click-through percentages. I'll just check. I'm pretty sure that brand analytics, user management there. Yeah, so you've got access with that one. That's for you. And then I guess maybe Federico will need an invite. Didn't see his name in there. No. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. All right. Great. Catch you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye for now.